For USCFootball.com, I'm Keely Eure here with Dan Weber. Instant analysis of the Wednesday practice leading up to Texas week. I think the biggest news coming out of practice today, Porter Gustin had surgery on his toe. Helton said it was similar to Juju Smith-Schuster's surgery that he had on his hand last season, but ultimately Saturday it will be up to the doctors and Porter to see if he can handle that pain and play with that toe surgery. 2 bolts that he got.
Yeah, some similarities. Juju's was Monday. This is Wednesday. And Juju's was in his hand. This is in his foot, or his toe. And so I'm thinking that's a little tougher to deal with. It was the same time frame. I think it's still tougher. I mean, Juju was able to put a glove on and is able to sort of catch the ball with his other hand and sort of, tough it out. I'm not sure. I think I tend to agree with Clay. He's much more optimistic about next week for Porter than this week. It's completely up to the doctors. Boy, it'd be a shocker if he can come back and play with just how sore that toe's got. I mean, Clay said he's Superman and he wants to play, and that's his mindset. But it's going to be up to the doctors. So they're certainly getting Connor Murphy and Christian Rector actually ready to play that spot. And it's going to look different. It'll be interesting to see how it works. But probably a good opportunity to get more guys in. We'll see. You wouldn't want to bet against Porter, but you also, it's in his toe. I mean, I think that the big toe, and there are just so many things that impacts in terms of moving around out there.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned how it'll look different. It will look different on defense also with John Houston. He's having non-contact practices where he hasn't been in the team period. We're seeing a lot of Jordan Iosefa. You also asked about, without Marlon Tulipilotu, do you get a guy like Brandon Pili more reps, Jay Tufele? It was interesting, though. Helton didn't mention Jay Tufele when he responded.
Yeah, I just happened to see Jay do a couple of pass rushes. He's not exactly a classic nose tackle, for example. He's more of a wider, but he did a couple of things today that make you think, whoa. And yet when you talk about nose tackle and guys moving up, you said that Brandon Pili and Kenny Bigelow are the guys that they're going to get in there. And they said because of the fact that Texas is a kind of high tempo, run a lot of plays, he said he's pretty much guaranteed you will see us rolling in a lot of guys. So they're going to get more guys ready, and they're going to get more guys on the field. It's going to be a great opportunity for some of those guys that maybe didn't get in the Stanford game. There weren't that many plays. For example, they didn't have to take Rasheem Green out at all. They only ran, I guess, 54 plays, Clay said, where you'd have a down lineman in. And he didn't miss any of them. So this week they're going to have more guys in the game.
Mm-hmm. Helton said third down efficiency was an emphasis today, as well as the up-tempo offense that Texas has. Even Chris Hawkins said that they're big up front and they'll push you around. But Helton seemed confident as far as third down efficiency for USC. They're able to get it done there.
Yeah, in terms of USC's third, I mean, it's sort of a battle of 2 third down efficiencies. Yeah. You want to keep yours going to keep those long drives going that they ran against Stanford and, really were productive as heck. And then you want to get them off the field. So you want to, on third down, you want to give them a bad play, or you give them a bad play on first down and you make them get a little bit out of character. So if they want to run the ball with their big backs like they did last week, it's just a little tough if you've given them, a bad play on first down. So, you could talk about working on third down, but as they did last week and proved, what you do on first down really impacts what you're able to do on third down. But I think the model is, get them off the field, make them punt.
Mm-hmm. We've been seeing Reed Budrovich take over as backup kicker for Michael Brown, who was injured with his ACL. You actually got to talk to Reed today. Did he have anything that was noteworthy?
Yeah, I didn't realize this. He didn't punt at all in high school. And then when he got to USC, they had a couple of place kickers. He was really a good place kicker in high school. Saw him play a couple of times at the end of his senior year at Bosco. But he came to USC, turned himself into a punter. Got much stronger, he said, in the spring and over the summer, and working with the weights and all that. He could just tell his leg was just an awful lot stronger. And so he becomes the punter, and he beats out, Chris Tilby. And then here they come to him the other day and said, you know, we're going to need you as a backup place kicker. And he had been doing that the previous couple of years. And he said it wasn't that big of an adjustment. He kind of got back into it. They videoed. He just kicked 3 yesterday. They videoed him and they went over it with him. And he said it just feels pretty natural. He got to kick a bunch today with the second group. So I think they're very fortunate. He's a kid's not on scholarship, and he may be as important as anybody they've got in this program. Mentioned the fact that he's in the Marshall School, going to graduate with the double major, I guess, this year, but he's going to have a year of eligibility. Said, you know, if they would have a scholarship for him, he probably could come back, and that'll be an interesting call, you know, for USC to make. But what a valuable walk-on kid to stay after it for this many years, and then become. He's the leading net punter in the nation, number 1, 48 yards net punt. He's just done a wonderful job. So USC very fortunate to have him in the wings.
Mm-hmm. We were told today that at Saturday's Stanford game, 40,000 people entered the Coliseum after 5 p.m., which is a lot of people to enter into the Coliseum with only 30 minutes left. So we were told to tell you guys to get to the USC Coliseum, get to the Los Angeles Coliseum early so you don't have that huge rush.
Well, I think a lot of those are people that are tailgating, and they're actually at the Coliseum, and with all the things, you know, and however many gates that are open or not, and all the security stuff, probably half hour isn't enough time to give yourself. When that his first rockets go off at 4:30, an hour before kickoff, the recommendation is at that point you go get in line. And if you don't, I don't think they can. And they proved it Saturday. They can't get 40,000 people through the gates in a half an hour. So, and this week there will be, you know, 15,000 more. The recommendation would be absolutely, if you're there at the Coliseum and those first, you know, they send up those fireworks an hour before kickoff, go get in line and get through, because, you know, they're not, I mean, I know people say, well, they need to open more gates, or they need, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. And you just better probably adjust to it so you can, you know, not miss the first score like a lot of people, you know, said they did. Yeah,
it's also a clear bag stadium, so make sure you do that too. It's funny how the narrative changes from week to week. I think after a dominant performance against Stanford, the narrative now is, could USC have a letdown facing Texas? I mean, Helton was asked that multiple times this week. Do you think that's even a possibility?
Certainly would be a surprise with the history of this game and all the Texas people who are going to be here, and the the sellout crowd. I'd be a little surprised that if these guys, you know, they don't seem to be like the kind that are real focused on who they're playing or what, you know. I think there's somebody that's going to go out there and say, this is who we are, this is how we play. I mean, they've got the formula now. I mean, it's pretty obvious after the Stanford game. They know what they need to do. And I think this is a team that, because of the way they can put points on the board and the way they can run the ball, which will guarantee that they can throw the ball, they're going to be hard to upset just because they're probably going to score points. Yeah. And on a Texas team that hasn't proved that, you know, that they can, you know, stop a good team with their defense, it makes it a little hard. But, you know, you got to worry about something, I guess. So that'd be good a thing as anything to worry about. But I kind of like their chances.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's going to wrap it up for Wednesday practice for Texas Week. For Dan Weber, I'm Keely Eure. For more, check out uscfootball.com.